Welcome in, BigTen Backers. We got another big ass show for you, Beeve. Talk about this show, man. How you been? What you
Oh
doing?
man, top 25, it's coming. Last year we called it. We had Michigan number 1 in our top 25 model. So if you want to pay attention, actually you should pay attention. Go ahead and take that money and put it on the line because we are going to predict the national championship year 2. 2 years in a row. If it happens 2 years in a row, someone's got to be paying attention. We got to get a sponsorship from like MGM or some shit.
Yeah, our model doesn't play, but man, let's get them started with our intro video, baby.
Hell yeah!
Let's go, man. Let's go. Purdue sucks. But so does Michigan and Ohio State.
Love you, man. I'd like to know where Lou Holtz is right now. This is a tough team right here. We're proud to be from Ohio, and it's always been Ohio against the world.
Who taught you how to fight? Who taught you how to be a warrior?
I hate playing against these guys. I hate playing them.
Like, you're making me uncomfortable. Like, I don't.
You better get me right now.
They're fighting for clicks. We're fighting for wins. Right? This game ain't going to be played in Hollywood.
We're in LA. It's us and USC.
We are at the top of the Big Ten Conference. I mean, we're at the top of any conference. I don't ever look at ourselves below anybody. We are
best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
Sure, you get some of that NIL money that he's sharing with Dan Lanning, but sure you get.
There's some things going on that aren't right as well, so we'll talk about how to handle it.
Really, 2 or 3 beers or 4. I've probably done that 1,000 times in my life.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Love you, man.
Man, 2, 3, 4 beers. I've done that probably 1,000 times.
That cures everything.
It does
Cures everything, dude.
You're making me uncomfortable right now. That's all I know.
Hey, speaking of the 2, 3, or 4 beers, did I just virtually peer pressure you?
You did. You know, I got my morning whiskey. Thanks to
on
you.
On a nice Sunday morning.
Trying to deny it, Trying to deny it. But Sunday morning, Beeves here talking with me, talking football. I guess we got to get the whiskey out, man. Cheers.
I got my coffee and whiskey.
But, man, talk about our model. We talked about it a little bit. But, yeah, had Michigan number 1. Had Florida State top 4, which they probably would have been top 4 if it wasn't for the quarterback getting hurt. So the model was
we had them 3 last year.
Man. Or 3, yeah. But the model was doing work.
You got to wait to see it this year. It's doing work again. It's going to have some outrageous predictions. And we got like slapped across the face with people's ball sacks on Facebook saying that Florida State was number 3. They thought we were crazy. There was all kinds of comments and we were new to the game, right? So it was our first year putting out a model and people were like, you guys lost all respectability having Florida State at number 3. And they were 1 quarterback injury away from making it to the playoffs. So our model's good, man. Just trust in the model.
Yeah, the model had USC kind of high, but we had our boy Matt, man. Vegas Matt is like, nah, man, you gotta pull USC out of there. So he kind of saved the model there. But that was kind of the one, I guess, team it was in love with that didn't quite kind of hold up to its tenure.
Yeah, and we readjusted the model this year for returning award winners. We had that way too high. Obviously, a Heisman Award winner doesn't happen that often for them to return. But when it does, it's not always been that successful. You think of Tim Tebow when he returned for his Heisman winning campaign.
They actually did better.
That actually turned out good.
Yeah, actually did better. And he had
so it should have been good. It's just, it's something that we got to tweak year to year.
Okay.
And this
can't
is year
hit on
2.
everything. But man, the model is it's 90%, 95%.
It was way better than the AP poll.
No doubt about it. But let's get into it, man. You ready to kind of slice and dice the model's top 25, the BigTen Backers model?
I'm ready for it, man. Give it to me.
Do it, man.
Give it to me big.
All right, we're going to hit 25 through 21st, and boy, I can hit you big, Beef, any day.
Yeah, I bet you can.
Drum roll, baby. Look at that. Look who's at number 25. Look at that.
Nebraska, baby. Hell yeah. Man, we've been talking them up. The model sees it as we do, and I'm just so glad
hold on,
had them right there.
Hold on a minute. Let me grab my Rule Aid. Oh, that Rule Aid.
Drinking that Rule Aid.
Good, baby.
Drink that Rule Aid, baby.
Man, who taught you how to
man.
fight?
Who taught you how to fight? Who taught you to be a warrior? My mom, of course. That Irish,
man.
Scottish blood, man, she's a fighter. So the model sees them as we do. 71% returning production. Oh, man. Dylan Raiola and GBR. Let's go, baby.
I'm ready, man. I'm ready for Nebraska to take the field, man. That defense is already pumping. They were freaking really good last year. Then hopefully you can fix that turnover bug.
Nebraska Rascals back for some more. I love this, dude. You got to join us from now on, man. Love you.
And then, we got Oklahoma State coming in at 24, man. Oklahoma.
Oh, that ain't Oklahoma State. That's a misprint. That should be
misprint.
Oklahoma.
Oh.
That's OU.
Oh, damn. OU. They kind of sliding down. Okay. Little misprint there. Oklahoma, though, 65% returning production. This is their first year in the SEC. They got a brutal schedule. Do you think they're going to hold up to that 24 mark?
Dude, that's tough. They're going to slide down with their schedule, with the SEC as strongly weighted as it is, which you'll see later on. I think there's 4 teams in the top 10 in the SEC on our model. I don't think they stand a chance. And damn, man, that's an egregious error by me. That was me putting Oklahoma State's on OU's. It's just a little slap in the face to them a little bit. For being so low, because
you can go to separate conferences, but there's no leaving each other, man. There's just no way.
Yeah, in-state rivalries, gotta love it.
All right, man. Colorado 23. I kind of want to push back
shit.
the model here, man.
Braska Rascal, he hates it. Dion.
I'm with Braska here, man. The model, I don't know. I think they're kind of pushing Colorado here a bit, man.
Let me tell you what the model
Fox
said.
call you? Did Fox call the model and say, hey, I need you to push these guys up so we can be there?
Pump it up. We need some ratings, dude. Ratings do go into the model, however. 71% returning production, and you wouldn't think that, considering the transfer portal news that you get. But all that production is Sador and Hunter, If you have that much production from 2 guys.
And that defense, man. That offensive line and that defense has got to make major improvements. Nebraska should have had them last year, dude, if it wasn't for the turnovers. I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know.
And all the other polls don't have them that high because CBS created the polls.
I don't know. I think that's a bit of a push. I'm with Nebraska Rascal, man. I don't know.
He doesn't like that.
I don't know.
He doesn't like that. Colorado. Woo. Hey,
right,
that just means it's a top 25 game. No, wait. That's just a top 25 game in Lincoln, though. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be WWF wrestling rings just for Fox to get this shit going, man. And if you win that bumps you up, man. You get a top 25 win.
Is The Rock going to be back? Is The Rock going to be back?
Oh, yeah. He better be.
All right, we got another Big Ten team showing its face. USC, or SC, I should say, at 22, man. What you got on USC?
USC, hey, man, it's Miller time. I just don't know that they're there yet. Those fans, the program, they're confident. I mean, the players are confident, but the Big Ten move, I don't know that they're going to be able to make it. D'Anton Lynn will work his magic, but this is year 1, and the return to glory is next year. Not quite.
So we got Utah in at 21. Now, this is more of a power ranking coming out the gates. This isn't kind of looking at their schedule. So there's going to be teams who have a easier schedule who could do better than say what they are on this list. But this is just saying like potential out of talent. Since no one's played, we'll see how it goes. But man, I think the Utes could be a little bit higher just because of their schedule. But 66 returning production. Cam Rising's back. Everybody's kind of fallen in love with the Utes in the Big 12. Interesting to see kind of how this one flakes out, man.
Hey, Kyle Whittingham always produces since Urban Meyer was there. He took over. Always produces, no matter what the recruiting rankings are. So you can't discount Utah. Go for 2.
No. LSU, man, and you got another set of teams that are playing kind of in the opening weeks of college football. LSU and USC out in Vegas, man. What you got on them Tigers?
It's the first year under defensive coordinator Blake Baker, who came over from Missouri, who had a wonderful year. And LSU and Brian Kelly are like, I'm just going to take that bitch and put him on my team now. All right. But I really can't get behind and trust a man who grinds on 19-year-old recruits, essentially just for money, because it was, recruits are money, right?
As long as he doesn't turn purple again, I think we'll be all right.
As long as he doesn't kill a guy.
Every time he gets mad, dude, he looks like he's freaking choking on a pea or some shit.
Yeah, and just, man, now is the time to deep dive into your southern accent, right? You've been there a few years. You can assimilate that now. You can't do that coming down from fucking the Northeast, right? Yeah. That's where he grew up. I mean, and he was in the Midwest for all his coaching career, so come on, Brian Kelly. Represent.
But man, that new defensive coordinator, man, you think he's going to, like, them and USC are so mirrored programs right now. They're both bringing new DCs, but Blake Baker, man, they bring him in from Mizzou. That defense was kind of rocking for Mizzou last year. Kind of interesting to see which one of these DCs can get their defense up and running first, man. For sure. But if you want fireworks in Vegas, that game is going to be a fucking doozy.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome.
Then we got Florida State at 19, 56% returning production.
Florida State.
They're going to depend on the portal again, too. Let's see how that portal does. It worked for them last year really well. They bring in DJ. I think DJ's never lived up to his five-star.
You're high on DJ, man.
I'm high on DJ. I'm not high on DJ. I just think he's a good, solid. I think
you're high, motherfucker.
Okay,
you are high.
I shouldn't have done those edibles, huh?
That's why we're late. That's why we kicked it back to the 8:30 time slot.
But yeah, man, DJ might be a late bloomer. I think he's a good, solid quarterback. I don't think he's ever going to live up to his 5-star billing, but let's see, man. I mean, he's got a lot of experience under his belt. I'm sure there's a lot of teams that would love to have him. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say, man.
All right, give us that next slot.
That next slot? You're all about the slots, huh? Vegas got you talking? All right, man. Here's 18 through 10. Coming in Kentucky. 18 is Kentucky.
All right. I mean, they're pulling the old Michigan State model, and now Michigan State's going to be Michigan State again, I believe. So it's going to be hard for Kentucky to maintain this, and I think they kind of shot their load. Dude should have moved on while he could, because Kentucky's just fallen.
I feel like Kentucky's kind of been that Achilles heel to a lot of the smaller Big Ten programs because they have done well recruiting out of the Ohio bed and the Pennsylvania bed that Penn State and Ohio State don't want, and they're doing a real good job picking up a lot of those Big Ten what would be Big Ten athletes.
Yeah, 72% returning production, so that's actually really good. And what we're looking at for the upper echelon teams that have good recruiting is a lot of them, as long as they're in that 68 to 70 model, maybe even down to 65 for some of them if they're recruiting really, really well, they got those blue chip recruits, they can go ahead and bump up there. But you're going to need, above 70 if you're an average recruiting team. So Kentucky's right there. They have the chance, right?
They do. I want to talk about the Cyclones, though, man. I think Iowa better be ready for when this game comes, man, because this might be the best Matt Campbell team he's had. 86% returning production, which I believe is second in the nation or tied first, however you want to look at it. But they're bringing everybody back, man. They got to get it done this year. Matt Campbell was kind of like one of the hottest coaches out there. He stayed at Iowa State forever, man. I'm ready to see what Matt Campbell
could be the year in Ames, man.
And talk about winning the Big 12, man. Like, it is so wide open. I think any of these Big 12 teams could just be anywhere from finish first to sixth in the conference, man. Like, it's that close.
They have, like two teams that are the highest in returning production outside of Virginia Tech. So, like returning production is really, really highly weighted in our model that we have at BigTen Backers, right? And it has accurately predicts some people that shouldn't have been there, right? Florida State from last year, number 3. Other people, I don't even remember where the AP poll had them, but it wasn't in the top 10. That's for damn sure.
Talk to me about Penn State, man. Talk to me about Penn State.
Penn State gets the short end of the stick once again. Down a little lower than maybe some people are wanting them to be. The AP poll, the coaches poll. The coaches poll has them at like somewhere between 8 and 6. I don't even remember because our poll is just that much better. So I pay attention to that just a little bit more. Man, slipping down at 16. You got Drew Aller, so there's all the reasons to be excited. You got Abdul Carter. You got Tom Allen taking over defensive coordinator. You got Andy Kotelnicki as offensive coordinator. You got Julian Fleming coming back home to be that wide receiver. I just don't know if they have enough pieces to get them above that top echelon. We'll see what happens. They're usually, like we've always said, perennial third place Big Ten East finishers. Now you got more quality teams coming from out west. I see them dropping a little bit, but man, I wouldn't be surprised if they take it up to that next level.
I think they're getting knocked in points in the model just because they have a new OC and a new DC, which is fair, right? Like Kotelnicki's obviously good. Tom Allen's obviously good.
And that's only 1 point.
It's only 1 point, but still it's two. That's 2 points they lost, right? But it's still it's the reason it's in there, right? It takes a while for students or players to adjust to, a new DC and new OC. But I'm excited to see Kotelnicki. I'm not big on Aller, which we've talked about that. But how do you feel, man? I want to push you a little bit because you said Penn State was tier 1 this year in the Big Ten, but the model's saying not so fast, my friend.
Well, looking back at the model, I trust in the returning production model, and the returning production at Penn State is not the best in the world. There's other Big Ten teams that have better returning production. 67%, like I said, is kind of on that threshold, but you got to overcome that with recruiting. Penn State is like borderline overcoming that with recruiting, right? They don't have a lot of blue chip recruits as far as the percentage goes, so they're not even ranked in that top 16. That gives me a little bit of pause. I'm trusting in the model.
All right, so talk to me about Missouri, man. They're coming in. The Buckeye Slayer in the bowl game there. It was quite the boring game. It's kind of like almost watching Iowa Northwestern all over again at Wrigley. Could have took a nap and waited to the fourth quarter to see someone score a point. But yeah, Missouri, man, they got a manageable schedule in the SEC. They're coming in at 15. I think their schedule could actually boost them up a bit, but 71% returning production. What you got, man?
71% returning production, like you said. Their all-world quarterback from their epic run last year, Brady Cook, he's back, 3,317 yards, 21 touchdowns. Their schedule, like you said, is as soft as Rutgers. No Texas, no Georgia, no Ole Miss. And you wait till you see our model. Those three teams are pretty damn high. They do have Bama and OU, though. OU is a little lower. I like Missouri in this year. They did lose their defensive coordinator, Blake Baker, like we talked about. So that's going to be a little bit of an issue. We'll see how they replace that. And like I told you, these young head coaches, when they lose their coordinators, that's where they make their money, right? Mm-hmm. How do they do replacing them? We've seen slips in new coaches with their hires. That hiring process has got to be a bitch, man.
No doubt about it. What do you know about bitches, huh?
I know a lot about bitches.
All right, so this is my favorite team.
The wrong way, though.
The wrong way?
The wrong way. It's like trial and error.
Everybody got to have a little bit of that, right?
Yeah, I just have more than most.
But this is my favorite team in the model that I'm going to be watching this year, Virginia Tech, man. 84% returning production. We've been talking about Virginia Tech for a while. Can't wait to see Drones out there at quarterback, man. 2,000 yards, 17 TDs, the 3 interceptions. I want to see how much he advances. The defense was starting to get it together at the end of last season. But, man, oh, man, am I ready to see Virginia Tech.
Ooh. Drones, you're right. They started off 0-4 last year. Won 5 of their last 7. We've been high on them since the beginning. And a lot of people are out there, mainstream podcasts are like, hey, we were on them first. I'm pretty sure that we were probably the first one that put out information on both Oklahoma State and Virginia Tech. I mean, you can go back and check the tapes if you want to. Maybe we'll do that later on, but we don't like to toot our own horn more than just a quick little segment. Maybe I like to toot my horn more than AJ does, but we're right. We were there first. Everyone else followed our back. We're high on Rutgers too.
Get your lunchbox ready, man. Get your lunchbox ready.
Honestly, this is where we put them in the preseason, and that was more based on an opinion for us. And the model predicted it exactly the same. I'd like to see them just a little bit higher, I think. Yeah, what the hell is this? That's exactly what we got last year. What the hell is this? And we were right. I mean, just wait till the season goes on, and we'll put it back up there for you, Brandon.
That's funny. They still blaming Herb Street?
Well, they should, right? You can blame Herb Streak for everything.
All right,
so
so
State fans do.
Number 13, Notre Dame, man. They lost their left tackle. That's going to be huge for them to try to replace in camp. I mean, that's a massive loss anytime you lose a left tackle.
Brandon, you won't be complaining later.
They have them a little bit higher, but man, that defense is going to be legit. That defense is going to keep them in every game they play. Kind of curious where Notre Dame is. I think this is about right. But yeah, man, Notre Dame's defense is full.
It's probably close.
Full of stars, man.
There was huge news losing their left tackle, so there's big concerns about O-line depth. So they have their quarterback Riley, but maybe no one to protect him. It's never good to lose a defensive or a starting left tackle. I mean, those are the hardest things to replace. They start out with A&M and one of the best pass rushers in the nation, Stewart. I mean, a DN that just gets after it. He claimed that he was planning on having 15 sacks this season, so we'll see how that goes. But just having that as a goal, that's lofty.
And then Watt's back there too. Man, that defense is gonna be legit, man. But
I think it's
Miami, Miami, is it their year, man? Is Miami back? Coming in at number 12, man.
It's Miami to me. I have a little bit of that Espanol influence.
I mean, they've been gathering talent, transfer portal, recruiting. Like, everything's coming except for the wins the last few years. Is this the year they get it done, Beef?
All the talent in the world. They have Cam Ward back there with his 7 interceptions and 12 fumbles. 8 of them lost last season. So
that's one thing people don't talk about when it comes to Cam Ward is he loves to turn the ball over, man.
But can he overcome Cristobal's lack of being able to manage a game clock or, call plays? He can improvise. He can get outside the pocket. He can overcome those things that coaches can fuck up and fuck up well.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Michigan. Michigan, man. Really low returning production, like really bad.
Like really low, like bottom of the line.
Yes, some of the worst in the nation.
I might even have to look that up. They were like 3rd to last, I do believe. Like I'm gonna have to come. Go ahead and talk about your thing on Michigan.
36% returning production. But all that returning production is on that defense, man. That defense is those defensive tackles. Graham, that's going to be a monster. It's just, I don't think people realize. There's probably a lot of Buckeye fans out there who don't realize how talented this Michigan team is still going to be, especially on defense. Now, offense is obviously up in the air. Returning, I mean, they're replacing their entire offensive line. Only 4 returning starts come in for that offensive line. Dude. Now, Donovan Edwards is a damn good back, but what's that offensive line going to look like?
You can't block for a damn good back.
Like, they have some weapons on that offense. It's just what's that offensive line going to look like, and what's quarterback play going to be? But that defense is good enough to beat anybody, man.
Yeah, they're going to be the Iowa of last year, unless we see a lot of orgies in the end zone and Sharon Moore can work his magic at that offensive line. The positive news for Michigan is you got an offensive line coach as your head coach. That's always good news to replace an offensive line, right? Better than having, a quarterback coach. They are 130 out of 134 in returning production. The only teams worse are Troy at 35%, Oregon State at 34%, Louisiana Monroe at 33%, and your boys, the Air Force, 25%.
That's bad, man. Air Force about to have a bad year.
Air Force is going to be awful. Did that coach leave, or is he still there?
I believe he's still there, but don't quote me, man.
He should have left after last year.
He should have.
He had a good season.
And then coming in at 10, man, Clemson. Dabo, the Clown, and Clemson, man. What you got on Clemson?
Clemson, Dabo's back. Back again. Or is he? The model has him in the mix, but, man, I do not have any faith in Dabo. I think he's a has-been. I think he is the Clown. I think once he called Ohio State being a 11 and 1, or the best 11 team in the country or some shit like that. I can't remember exactly what
he just
said.
voted him 11th, and then Buckeye fans.
He voted, yeah.
They can't take any criticism. Had to come up with some slogans and some T-shirts. The best damn.
We
number
give
11
ourselves just as much criticism as everyone else does. So when someone else does it, though, we got to defend our back, man. Your family. If you're
Fair
a Buckeye,
enough.
you're family.
Fair enough. All right, man. We're gonna pay some bills, and then we're gonna come in. We're gonna talk about the top 9 because we do things a little different here instead of cutting it at 10. But anyways, man, here you go. Here you go. Have a little commercial.
Icy Breeze is the world's first portable air conditioner and cooler. A premium ice cooler that doubles as an eco-friendly portable air conditioner. This is not a swamp cooler just blowing air across ice. Over 60 parts and components allow Icy Breeze to achieve what no other product in the world can do. The secret behind the Icy Breeze is an innovative design that circulates chilled ice water through a heat exchanger in the lid, replacing the Freon used in most ACs. Fresh air is drawn from hidden vents in the top of the cooler, pulled across the exchanger, and chilled down to 35 degrees cooler than the outside air. A 3-speed fan control delivers Icy Breeze's dry, cold air up to 25 miles per hour, just like a car AC. And a stay-put flex hose directs the breeze in any direction. Wherever you need it, Icy Breeze helps you beat the heat.
Icy Breeze helps you beat the heat, and we're bringing the heat with our top 9.
And AJ, just like our model, just like Icy Breeze, we're not just blowing air across the ice, man.
No?
It's the real deal. Our model's awesome.
It is. The model is legit, man. Made us some money last year, along with Vegas Matt's help, man. But let's do it, man.
It was mostly me. I'm not going to lie. I won that shit. Don't give it to Vegas.
All right,
58%.
let's go, man. Here it is. Here it is. Top 9. Coming in at 9. Like always, the most overrated team the last, 7 years, Texas A&M. But they have a new coach. And Mike Elko, I believe, is the man to get it done. And actually like this ranking for him. I mean, super talented, 67% returning production. Colin Klein.
I mean, he leaves his alma mater. He leaves his alma mater for a, just transfer position. He was the coordinator there. Now he's at A&M. Mike Elko has had crazy success at Duke. I mean, and up until recently, I didn't even know Duke had a football team, but Mike Elko took them to back-to-back bowl games, which is insane.
This what's crazy is like the A&M fans that I knew weren't even that excited about this hire. Like, are you serious, man? Like, this dude's a freaking winner. If you can win at Duke, you could definitely win at Texas A&M.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Brandon's back like, oh, I do like your model. But before he was like this. What the hell is this? Colorado? Come on, man. All right, we're here, man. We had your Colorado. Now we got your Iowa. What do you think, bro? What do you think, Brandon?
Brandon, come on, chime in. Is 8 too high or too low for Iowa, or is it just right?
Hey, getting shit on a bird is going to catch some shit, just like us having Iowa at number 8 is going to. But top 10 Iowa returns 79% of the returning production. Tim is going to get it done as offensive coordinator, taking shit right out of the playbook for Green Bay Packers. And Brandon,
hold on. Don't say Green Bay Packers and Iowa in the same sentence. Brandon might get a little wet in his pants, okay?
Oh, here we go. Let's see what Brandon has to say. Iowa at 8 is okay. The model needs tweaking. Eat my ass, Brandon. It was right last year. It's going to be right again. Somebody is high. A Nebraska fan would say that. Yeah. Hey, man, wait till you see our breakdown of the schedules, though. You got to stick around for that, for sure. Somebody is high. We got a lot of that shit last year, right?
We did. We'll see how it ends, man. It ended well last year for the model. We'll see. But number 7.
You can predict the national champion. Anytime you can predict the national championship, you're right on. You're right on. That's all it takes. You don't even have to be that damn good. But are we done? Are we done talking about Iowa? McNamara returns from injury. They got a stacked defense, and they return an All-American. I'm loving it.
I mean, Higgins.
It's like Madonna's commercial.
Give me some of that Jay Higgins, man. That defense is going to be wilding out again, too. hopefully the offense can find a pulse, because all I need is a pulse, man. And this team could definitely be.
McNamara, if he can stay healthy, he's going to give him that pulse, man. He can complete passes. And Brian Ferentz isn't there anymore, so they might have an offensive line.
I think
he should be good at.
Yes. I think these next two teams are really interesting too. Who would you have in front of who here, Beeve? Ole Miss or Alabama? Because the model's got Ole Miss in front of Alabama. Pardon my language there.
Yeah, I mean 53% returning production, but a stacked roster for Bama. Always been stacked. They lost a little bit, but they gained it right back. Jalen Milroe and Coach Kalen DeBoer. Let's see what the new look looks like. You got to trust in Kalen DeBoer, right? But that Ole Miss, this is historic for Ole Miss.
This is the best Ole Miss team, talent-wise, that they may ever have. Not just have had, may ever have.
You're on the Lane train now? Because you weren't on it before. 70% returning production.
I am not a Lane Kitten fan. I think this guy has done the least with the most amount of programs. Like, how do you get a coach at Tennessee? How do you get a coach at USC? And kind of fumble your way through it. I think he can get it done maybe this year and make the playoffs. I think his roster building here is kind of showing off, but his winning game ability, not so much of a fan.
Hey, that was a good take. That was a good take for Iowa over the 7.5 wins. Easy $50. You're not going to get that till the end of the fucking season, so I mean your interest could have been better somewhere else. But if you want to play the over and unders, that's cool. I would put a little bit more money on it if I were going to wager on the over and unders, because you're out like 6 months.
Actually, think it's smart, man. Nebraska, that's a good bet, man. I need.
It's a good bet, but I just don't want to throw $50 away like that. But it makes the season more fun, especially for a Nebraska fan to be betting on Iowa. You're like rooting for them all but one game, right? Anyway, back to reality. Ole Miss, yeah, I like it. I like the pick. SEC is heavily weighted in this model. Like, just look at the top 10. You got Georgia, number 1. You got Texas, number 4. You got Ole Miss, 6. Alabama, 7. A&M, 9. That's insane, dude.
I mean, it happens. I mean, that's just life. Life of college football, man.
SEC.
Yep. Unfortunately, that's the SEC. Hopefully the Big Ten can catch up to them, but, man. That's the
All
SEC.
right, where we're going to get slapped in the dick again is at number 5, right?
I don't know if we will, man. I think some people are going to look at their schedule, look at their returning production. Everybody knows Ollie Gordon. I mean, the best running back in the country, even if he has, 4, 5, 6, 7 beers, doesn't matter.
You talked about it. 85% returning production. 20 of 22 starters are back. They got the Heisman campaign going for Ollie Gordon. And you're right. Having 2, 3, or 4 beers and driving, according to Mike Gundy, it's not a big deal. He's done it 1,000 times.
And his punishment is to make Ollie Gordon carry it more. So now Ollie's going to get more touches, the best player on the team. So I don't know what's not to like. I mean, Oklahoma State's, look at their schedule, man. Look at their returning production. Look at their returning star running back. I mean, I don't see why there's not a reason they're not 5 or higher, as long as they don't fumble the ball, drop the beer, I should say.
As a true rival would say, if Iowa only wins 7 games, I'd be happy to lose the $50. Touche. Love you, dude. I got to meet you if I end up coming down for that Colorado game, because Nebraska Rascal, you're the man. As all Nebraska fans are, really fun. It's always a good time.
Dude. If you want to go see real college football and see real fans, man, you got to get out to Nebraska for a night game. Like, it's just, it's like, it's one of the best atmospheres there is, the best fans there is. They're very welcoming. I don't know. I cannot say enough about the Nebraska fan base, man.
Definitely my second favorite team in all of college football. That 2020 season where Nebraska had Ohio State's back and actually wanted to play football, we love you for that. And the atmosphere, how fun it was just to be there, was fucking awesome. Great place to watch football. Oklahoma State and Utah for the Big 12 championship game. Iowa State might have something to say about it. Just saying.
I think it's going to be 2 of those 3 for sure that you just said. But, man, Okie State and Utah, I like it. I'm with Nebraska. Let's go. Matt Campbell's going to fumble the ball. It's going to be those 2.
All right. What you got?
All right, man. Talk to me about Texas.
Quinn Ewers and company back for some more. CJ Baxter is a huge loss. I believe he was the first freshman running back to start in a long time. I can't remember the years now, so never mind. I'll just pretend I didn't say that. Anyway, he had a season-ending injury with a PCL and an LCL, but with 4 starters returning on the offensive line, they're going to have more gaping holes than I do in my Google search history. So we'll see.
Not on your work computer. Come on.
And if Sark's going through a divorce, just finalizing that. So did he fall off the wagon, or is he going to fall off afterwards? That's one thing to keep in mind.
Hopefully he doesn't, man. Or does he fall into work?
He should. I mean, that's a good source of, stress relief. Get right into work, right? Horns down, baby. We're talking about all your rivals, man. Going at it.
All right, man. Let's talk about Oregon. Second-ranked team in the transfer portal. Lord. First in the Big Ten when it comes to the transfer portal. They didn't play any games. Obviously, everybody knows who they brought in. They brought in every cornerback, safety they could bring to kind of revamp the backfield. I mean, Oregon.
Is that how you do the
man, that showdown between Oregon and Ohio State and Autzen Stadium is going to be legendary, man. Ticket prices are already through the roof. But I can't say enough about Oregon. I think actually Oregon, in my opinion, should be in front of Ohio State just because of the questions at quarterback for Ohio State versus Oregon. But, man, Oregon.
Dude, they're going to have to build more to that stadium just to fit in all the Michigan, Nebraska, and Ohio State fans of people coming. They don't realize that in the Big Ten, we want to get out of the Midwest for a week or two, so we love to travel. You better add on to that stadium and add on to it quick, because it's going to sell out and you're going to be paying $400 per game at least 2 to 3 times a year.
Dylan Gabriel, 3,000-yard passer for however many years. He's been in college football forever. You got Tez Johnson, Evan Stewart. Tez Bryant. Damn it. Thank you.
That's right. I got you. 4 out of 5 offensive linemen returning, including Cornelius and Josh Connerly. The D-line, that might...
That's the big question. Is
cause some questions, but... They got Uiagalele's brother. They got the little man who sacked his big brother at Oregon State and had a good time doing it.
I mean, the talent's there. Absolutely, the talent's there on the defensive line. It's just unproven talent, which happens every year for these big teams, man. Like, that's just what it is.
They got a stud linebacker in Bossa, and they got Jabbar Muhammad coming over from the best player that was supposed to be returning on Washington. So, I mean, they did their due diligence. They got all the transfers they needed. And
should it be against the rules to transfer from your rival?
No.
Should that?
Not at all.
I still feel
mean,
like
that just adds to the.
It shouldn't happen, man. It just shouldn't happen.
It shouldn't. Phil Knight trying to buy a championship before it dies. That's absolutely the truth. But don't tell a Oregon fan that. The Ducks get really sensitive when you tell them that they're doing the right thing by making money with NIL.
They do. They get real butthurt. Like, I think that's a brag, dude. If I had Nike just be
yeah, it's a brag.
handing me money to build a roster, I'd be fucking flexing that shit. Like, yeah, Phil Knight's with me, man. Let's go.
It's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
Why not?
You have a guy who graduated from your school, very passionate about your football program. He is a billionaire who is wanting to invest not only in the university but the football team too. Like, why is Oregon try to like make this a bad thing, or it's a hit on Dan Lanning? Like, dude, this shit's fucking like, that's good shit. Like, I don't understand like why they're so upset about it whenever you bring that up. It's a good thing, man. It's a good thing. Every big program has their a big booster who's throwing in money. And Phil Knight's one of the best at doing it. And he loves his school. He loves his program. He loves his university. He loves football. Man, it's a brag. It's a brag, man.
For sure, yeah. I mean, you pat yourself on the back for having that success, having that. And the reason why he's putting so much money into it is because of Dan Lanning, right? He sees the potential in Dan Lanning. He knows that there's a possible championship in the horizon, something that he may get to see. You don't have to hold up that big O anymore. You can do one of these, all right? Number one, if he gets that. And he's investing in it. Dude, that should be a source of accomplishment for you as a fan, as a fanatic. Like, yeah,
this should be the model for every big-time grad who went on to do great, successful things at their program to invest back into it. whether it's football or the university. Like,
Absolutely.
It's awesome. Absolutely.
It's
awesome.
a point of pride. You're absolutely right.
Exactly. But let's talk about the Buckeyes, and I'm going to let you run away with this one, Beef.
Boom. Hey, man, everything that we're hearing out of fall camp is that offensive line has come together. One of the big question marks, right? Because you have to have an offensive line to protect a quarterback who can't throw a damn deep ball. And he won't be throwing the deep ball, but he'll be running at 80 yards down the field like he did in the scrimmage, like he did against Texas. The dude is escapable. He's 6'5" and built like a brick house, dude. And he's fast, too. Apparently, they clocked him at 22 miles an hour. 22 miles an hour. I guess he was not eating right at Kansas State was one of the things that I've been
I believe that's when my shit turns purple and smells like rainbow sherbet.
Dude, just go back and look at Kansas State against Texas. If you can outrun the Texas defense, you can outrun anyone, right?
He ain't running no 22 mile an hour. Get the hell out of here.
Well, apparently he's not eating McDonald's anymore, so he's on that meal plan. He's on Kanye's workout
That's tackling fuel. That's tackling fuel.
So we'll see. I guess we'll see it when it comes. The offensive line's doing big things, so I was not as high on Ohio State as I am now, just hearing everything out of fall camp. That offensive line's coming together, dude. I'm telling you. Chip Kelly's like, whoa, coming from the outside, like those transformations that must have happened last year are impeccable. Like he's like, this is the best offensive line I've ever seen. Like I don't know what it was last year because I wasn't there. I didn't scout against him.
I mean, Chip Kelly, he doesn't even need.
I know what I'm seeing now.
He doesn't even need a great offensive line to make his offensive work. So, I mean, it's great to hear, I guess, for Buckeye fans that the offensive line is gelling and coming together in camp. But like Chip Kelly has never really had a great offensive line, and he still gets great production. So that's kind of a scary thought for the rest of the Big Ten world.
And buck nuts are nuts. There's a reason, like, our mascot is a nut because we're all fucking batshit crazy. Nuts.
I'm curious how they're going to use that two-headed dragon at running back, man. I mean, Junkins and...
it's going to be awesome. It's going to be sweet to see, man. And I really love Travion Henderson, the way he always comes out for Christ, and he's, like, at it with his religion. He loves it. The whole Buckeye team seems to be on it, and he is happy for Quinshon Junkins. Like, legitimately, you could see it. You can hear it from the words he speaks. He wants Quinshon Junkins to do just as good as he does. So I think when you have that type of room where you're proud of each other, good things happen.
What you got on that defense, man? That defense is going to be nasty. I mean, nasty.
It's definitely up in the running for the top defense of all time. Like, all those guys are going to the NFL. All of them. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's just first round pick after first round pick, and then we'll go to the second round, have a few there, and then the third round, a few there. But
I think their only hold they have on defense is that linebacker, man, and they only play two of them. So
yeah, but they're gonna fill it. C.J. Hicks is gonna be the man, and then there's backup after backup after backup, including the starters. I mean, Sonny Styles is gonna move down to linebacker apparently, and he's just a beast. Taylor Mays reincarnated.
That's
it's gonna be fun to watch.
I don't know, man. I don't know if you can just throw that out there for a guy who hasn't really put it on the field at a new position to say he's Taylor Mays reincarnated, man. That's some big talk, man. Big talk from a Buckeye.
Big talk, big truth. Big Ten.
All right.
That's what I'm all about.
Big talk, big truth, Big Ten. That should be the slogan, huh? All right. Yep. Well, let's talk about not the Big Ten, because the number one team in the nation per our model is going to be Georgia.
And Georgia's going to win it by a field goal again in the national title game. I hate to say it, but it's probably true. Until I see Day get hard, he's going to be soft, all right? Yeah, poor OSU down bad with all that talent. Yeah, well, you know what? There's a shit ton of talent. They're at number 2, but
$20 million worth of talent.
But that quarterback coming back at Georgia is going to be the difference in the world. 68% returning production, Ohio State 65. So I'll give them that. The model didn't disappoint last year. It had Michigan ranked number 1. So Georgia fans should be feeling good about themselves, like that poll voter who knocked the poll off with his own poll.
Yeah, did you even lose at that point?
I don't think you do. Like, you're a winner and a loser all at the same time. The only thing that sucks is not getting a medal. His dick got him, 4th place.
And probably all kinds of cool sponsorships, but whatever.
Give that boy some Blue Chew. He's currently working at Chippendales.
Yeah, apparently this dude's I guess maybe he should be the Trojan mascot, huh?
Carson Beck is the number one returning quarterback in my mind. And Kirby Smart's the number one coach. I mean, he's got 2 national titles, and he makes Clemson look like shit with Dabo. Dabo is a has-been. Kirby Smart is the man right now. I mean, he's the man. He is the new Saban. So if he can keep it going, he gets a 3rd one this year. Watch out, man.
Yeah.
That's dynasty mode.
He's got that motor revving, man. Like, there's the only thing slowing them down is, nobody's slowing them down because they keep getting speeding tickets and.
Touche, man.
Police
I didn't know where you were going with that. Can't catch their asses, man. Put that track outside of the stadium. We need just a drag racing track. Like, let these boys get all sauced up and do it themselves. You know, on private property.
Do something.
Do it between the head. Instead of those hedges, put in a fucking track, man.
Fucking Georgia drag racing strip. That'd be friggin' awesome.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm gonna throw up the whole top 25 so people can see it. Then we're gonna play a commercial, and then we're gonna get into Big Ten predictions.
And then you can make fun of us until we're right.
Look how right we are.
Boom. Look at that.
Everybody,
right, outliers right there.
Take a screenshot. Save this for the end of the season, and then either come back and pat us on the back, or tell us we were idiots.
Because we'll tell
already
you
know
we're
going to be right. But let's get a commercial.
We'll definitely bring it back to you. I spent some time on
the
Facebook. I spent some time on Facebook the other day, just making comments to all the people that gave a shit about Florida State being number 3. Just so you know.
Fair.
All right.
Let's give a shout out to College Football Dogs. They make this show happen. But yeah, if y'all are interested in joining the team, they're looking for some writers. They're looking for podcasters. If you do, go to their website and apply, baby.
On the College Football Dogs website, you'll find a main page that features some of our biggest and newest stories. Our conference pages for content related to your favorite team's conference. Our team store, where we have products that are available all year long, as well as gear available for a limited time only. Our podcast page, where you can see when one of the 12-plus College Football Dogs podcasts is streaming live on social media. Our subscription page, where you can join our Discord. If you're interested in becoming a contributor at College Football Dogs, email us at info@collegefootballdogs.com. If you enjoy any College Football Dogs content, we really do appreciate any donations you can make by visiting the donate page on our website or scanning the QR code here.
College Football Dogs, for the fans.
All right. Welcome back. But yeah, if you're interested in joining the College Football Dogs team, man, go to that website. Check them out. Apply today. They are hiring, man. But yeah, it's time to get into some Big Ten talk. We're going to talk about these individual schedules. But man, am I excited about this upcoming Big Ten season. 4 new members.
How are we going to decide the order of this?
You tell me.
You
tell me.
You know, we tried to do alphabetical order. We're thinking about that, right? But we want to go through these schedules. We want to make it make some sense. So alphabetically, nah. Wins, losses, that's an option. No. Let's go by the founding members, all right? We're going to go in order of when they were inducted into the Big Ten. So the founding members formed the Big Ten in 1896, and those members are Michigan, Illinois, Purdue, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Northwestern. So starting off with Michigan, baby.
All right,
Give us that schedule.
Me and Beeve sat down for, all week trying to debate on wins and losses for each one of these teams. I don't think either one of us got 100% our way, so this is kind of a combination decision between us two.
A mesh.
Here it is, man. Here's Michigan. We got them going 9-3 with losses against Texas, Oregon, and Ohio State.
I mean, losing all the big ones, right? Do they make the playoffs with that at a 9-3?
I think with the ones they lost, probably not. I think they would need to win one of those big 3 to kind of make it into the playoffs. So I think they could possibly get in, but I think it'd be more likely that they're not in. with that
Sure.
current win loss, especially who the losses are to, because they wouldn't have no one to hang their wins on.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything to add to this, man? I think the
No, I
Oregon
mean-
game is going to be very interesting with Oregon coming to the big house. I think that one's going to be fun. Texas coming in too. Like if they can pull off one of those games, I think, man, that'd be huge for me.
I think the key to watch here is that Minnesota game. They were ranked just outside of our top 25 in our poll. They have a huge returning production, so that is one to keep an eye on. Like we said, 36% returning production. This might be a rebuilding year. Can Michigan and Sharon Moore overcome what they did last year? The same thing with the off-season rumors, the cheating rumors, everything that's happening with that, and galvanize the team again like they did last year under Harbaugh? Time will tell.
All I know is if they win every game they're supposed to and can catch one of those.
Oh, damn, I got to wait till last.
Texas, Oregon, and Ohio State, they're in.
Nebraska's not quite last, man. Come on. There's 4 added in 2024.
All right, let's get on to one of the next founding members, Illinois.
Ooh, oops. There's a lot of oopses on that.
A lot of oopses, man. Looking like a bad year for old Brett. He's gonna be hitting the buffet, man. He's gonna be depressed eating. It's not gonna be good. But 4-8,
dude, he's gonna eat no matter what. Here. Yeah, it's every year is a rebuilding year at Illinois.
They had a good run the year before last, man. They were a field goal away from beating Michigan, but
yeah, they had a couple of good years, but that I don't know what to say. I just don't see them doing anything.
I mean, they're a team that's going to peak every 4 to 6 years, man, and they're not in that peak year. It is what it is.
But there was a lot of work to do for Bielema, right? When he came in, and he had, like you said, semi-successful seasons for a couple years, and this year is just going to be one of those years where they're going to be bottom of the barrel, baby.
Yeah, 4-8. Ooh, not looking good for them. I
think Vegas was high on them. They have a 5.5 over/under prediction, and we forgot that Michigan had a 9.5, so we're just under there. And what do we got for them? We got 4 and 8, so we're going under. Officially.
Yeah, we're taking the under here. I think we're right under on Michigan too with that prediction. So I guess we hit 2 unders, man. Let's get to Purdue.
Purdue.
3 and 9, man.
4.5. So that's the 3rd consecutive under we're taking. Ooh.
They got
for Big Ten backers. We're pretty low on the Big Ten
so far, I guess. But yeah, man. Obviously, playing against Notre Dame, that's not going to be a good game for them.
Their schedule, dude.
Their schedule. Notre Dame, Oregon State, Nebraska, Wisconsin. Get a break with Illinois, and then
whose
Oregon.
wife did Walters knock up at the Big Ten offices to get that kind of schedule, man? They're doing him no favors.
He done somebody wrong. That's for damn sure, man. But oof, not looking like a good year for Purdue. At least that's what we predict. I'm assuming there's a lot with us. Even Vegas is with us because Vegas only has them at 4.5 for the
boiler up.
Boiler up. We might as well just stay home, man. Save that engine for next year.
All right.
Let's get to Minnesota. Minnesota.
Another founding member.
Oh, we're on an over, Beef. We're on an over.
71% returning production. They're 4.5 over under for the season. We got them at 7.5. I'd actually take them higher than that. I think that they're probably. I was trying to fight with you a little bit about some wins here. I believe that they're going to knock off someone here between Iowa and USC at that 3-game losing streak, and I also could see them beating either Rutgers or Wisconsin. We do have them knocking off Penn State, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think they could get wins at Wisconsin, Rutgers. Maybe even USC. Iowa's not going to happen. At Michigan's not going to happen. I think 7-5 is right where it needs to be. I know you want a little bit more, but I was pushing back on this one.
We're gonna find out quick with North Carolina because North Carolina is not a bad team under Mac Brown. They don't have the quarterback that they had last year, obviously, but we'll find out real quick what Wisconsin's made of. I believe they have 4 out of 5 returning offensive linemen and a big-ass offensive lineman, too, at that.
Yeah, the best left tackle in the Big Ten.
In college football, probably. And then they got that transfer quarterback, what was his name, Max Brosner, a fifth-year player from New Hampshire. So New Hampshire's doing big things for the Big Ten. We'll see what happens.
All right, let's get into my boys, the Badges. And I don't know, man.
Got them 7-5.
Tough
Their
schedule again,
over
man.
under was 6.5.
So we're on another over. So we're starting to hit the overs.
Yeah, we got 2 overs in a row. We started off 0-3, and now we're 2-3 as far as over under is concerned.
Biggest thing is Bama coming in non-conference, man. I wish I was here to see that game, but I will not be here, unfortunately, to see that game. But man,
That's
tough schedule. I mean,
a little depressing for Nebraska fans not playing Minnesota for the first time since joining the Big Ten. That's sad news. I mean, but with expansion becomes consequences, right?
But we're going to get Minnesota. We are going to get Minnesota, man. We're going to beat Minnesota. That's all I know. The Badgers are getting Minnesota for Nebraska.
Is that the Paul Bunyan X? No.
No.
What is that? What is that rivalry?
I'm not going to tell you. You have to look it up.
Someone put that on the comments. Look that up for me. Come on, Brandon.
Don't tell him. Don't help him out. Don't do it.
Nebraska Rascal. I got to know what that is. Is that the Spittoon? I don't know any of the rivalry.
And then big thing here, man. We have Wisconsin upsetting Oregon, man. Wisconsin's coming to Camp Randall.
That's huge.
It's going to be a cold night game. I am calling it, man. Wisconsin is going to upset Oregon.
The last founding member. Hey, man, I could see it. It's going to be something different. Wisconsin is a crazy atmosphere, especially for a big game like that. We were there for Ohio State. They didn't pull away till late, right? Wisconsin made it a game, and Ohio State came through. Can Oregon come through on the road like that? Can Dan Lanning handle the bitter coldness without Nike money? Because they're not going to be there. Phil Knight ain't going to that cold weather, right? He's 80-some years old.
All right, let's get to that last founding member.
It's a broken chair, Jamie.
Northwestern, man. 4-8.
51. This is completely off memory because it's that bad. 51% returning production, 4-8. Ooh, that's right at their over-under at 5.5%. We took the under again, so that's 4 unders. 2 overs for the Big Ten so far.
We had Wisconsin over, so 3.
Oh, okay.
But yes.
So we're 3-3.
Anything to add to Northwestern schedule, man? What you got here?
No, it's just their field is going to be miserably cold, so those home games might sway some things. Do we have them losing some home games there? Yes to Duke.
Yes.
Yes to Indiana. Oh, no, they got to win. Yes against Wisconsin. Yes. Ohio State is going to be at Wrigley Field, so that doesn't count. But Illinois, look for Illinois and maybe
Is there
Washington.
ever any home field advantage, whether you're playing at the lacrosse stadium on the lake or
yes, it's on the lake. I mean, those balls are going to be blowing.
Does it really matter? Is there really home field advantage when only 15 fans show up anyway?
Yes. Yes, it's home field advantage when you have to play against that lake effect wind, especially late in the season.
Yes, I guess it can be weather induced, but that can be anywhere in the Big Ten. I don't think that's just Northwestern.
Yeah, but more so on the fucking lake, dude. They are on the lake in the winter. Like, you might as well just go ahead and play on ice.
All right, let's go on. Let's move to Iowa, man. This one's kind of, I think it's going to stun some people. You ready? Iowa, we got finishing 10-2, man, with losses to Ohio State and Nebraska at the end of the season. But the schedule calls for it, man. I mean, outside of those two teams, like, who really is going to push Iowa? I mean, Iowa State's going to push them a little bit. Minnesota could maybe push them. But other than that, man, Wisconsin could maybe push them. But I like this Iowa team. I think the defense and the schedule is it's a perfect marriage, man.
And you're keeping me from my historical markers, man. In 1891, the first additions to the Big Ten were Iowa and Indiana. 1891.
So they got it half right.
Half right, yeah. Because they didn't add Ohio State at that point. They should have, assholes.
I mean,
maybe it was
returning All-American Jay Higgins and this defense with that schedule, man, I'm liking this Iowa team right now, man.
And that Green Bay offense to go along with Phil Parker's defense, it should be fun to watch. I mean, Jay Higgins, you're right. It's going to be fun. Going to be fun to watch. We have them ranked in the top 10, man. Number 8, Caden McNamara is back as long as he can stay healthy, along with Luke Lachey, an Ohio boy himself. They got a great tight end room along with the experienced O-line. So there's
Williams and Johnson at running back too, man. Don't forget about those guys.
Nothing but love for the Hawkeyes, man. Those Hawkaholics are going to have a good season. This is a good year to start an Iowa-based podcast, man. Hawkaholics, baby. Check them out.
Yeah, check them out for sure. Let's get on to Indiana, man.
Yeah. Indiana doesn't even know their own theme song, man. This is going to be awful.
You mean JMU 2.0?
JMU, the Sun Belt will not prove well. 5.5 over under, and we're taking the under. So he can say, fuck Purdue, fuck Ohio State, and fuck Michigan too, all he wants, but he's not going to win against them.
All right, man. Let's talk about your Buckeyes. And what year did they join the Big Ten? Tell me, man. Tell me.
So, it wasn't a legit conference until 1912 when Ohio State decided to make the conference serious. And boom, there they are. 65% returning production at Ohio State. And we've talked about it before. We talked about it in the top 25. NFL all over that defense. What will Will Howard do? What will that offensive line do? Will they gel together and become as good as they should? I do have them losing to Oregon, at Oregon, in front of 55,000 people. But the Big Ten championship game is going to ensue, and it's going to be Ohio State over them Ducks. So keep quacking. They will probably bring that duck to Indiana once again, and it's going to be deflated in that river from all the ice.
So this is one of the schedules that we agreed on. We agreed that Ohio State would lose to Oregon on the road at Autzen Stadium. And that place is going to be wild. The ticket prices are wild. The fan base is going to be insane. It's just that game. I just can't wait for that game. I said it earlier. But yeah, 11-1 Ohio State. I think them and Ohio, we both agree Ohio State and Oregon is going to play for the Big Ten championship game. And then we'll find out what I think when it comes to them two playing on a neutral field.
So we got a new guy in here, Anthony Tucker. Handy. He says, "Morning, gents. Early bird special today, I see." Well, it's an early bird special for the rest of the season, probably, because we have our host, AJ, moving overseas with the Air Force, taking him there. So he is going to be late at night, and I'm going to be early in the morning. So we're opposite ends of the sun, man.
We had to accommodate the move, man.
So 8 a.m., maybe 8:30 every Sunday. So wake up, hit up the BigTen Backers, baby.
Let's do it, man. All right. So as a Ohio State fan, how do you feel about that Michigan game this year, man? How do you think that's going to go down? And then Ohio State has 2 rough road games, man. I think they have the 16th hardest schedule, which is kind of weird because if you see their out of conference schedule, there's no way. But I guess that's because they're at Oregon and at Penn State. But man, are you nervous, scared when it comes to that last game of the season and Michigan rolls into Columbus?
I don't think so. That 36% returning production has kind of leveled off my nerves a little bit, and I think Ohio State's got what it takes. From what I'm hearing, I really trust in Chip Kelly to turn things around on offense, and I really think that's what we needed. I mean, he's a serious dude. He's gonna shoot it to you as is. He's not that type of dude that's going to, go behind your back and be like, oh, well, the offensive line looks good. He said they look great. I mean, great. One of the best he's ever had. He is infatuated with his new role, maybe some more back to the basics of him being actually able to coach football, and that's a motivational factor right there. So I trust in Chip Kelly, and I trust in what Ryan Day will do with Chip Kelly leading the charge. And it'll give us some time to focus on the real things. And here we go, baby. Joe Lewis says, I agree, that Oregon game.
Yeah.
Big Ten's going to lose it.
Yeah, I think that's a hard win for Ohio State to go out there.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, what up, Anthony?
Anthony, a vet himself, man. We love the vets, for sure. We might not act like it with all the cussing and stuff we do. Oh, wait, that's pretty...
What are you talking about?
Run of the mill for the military, right? We should be smoking a cigarette while we're cussing. Cigarette break time.
All right, man. Let's go with Michigan State. Michigan State joined the Big Ten Conference in 1949, and
I forgot
we
to
almost
do
had
the
them
over.
4-9. Going to be another rough year for the Sparty fans out there. Obviously, new coach, a lot of new players. It's going to be a rebuilding year.
5.5 over under. So we're under on that one. We took the over on Ohio State, by the way. They were 10.5. So there you go.
Yeah. Anything you want to add on Michigan State? I mean, Jonathan Smith's first year is can he pull some craziness out of his sleeve and maybe get this team bowling?
No, not at all. First year, not happening. Aiden Childs, we like him, but not happening. Give it a year or two. We'll see what happens. I mean, you can't be a Beaver and then come to the Spartans and expect a lot, right?
Not with that.
That's a big change in culture.
Yeah, not with the Tucker mess.
Yeah. Right handy?
The right handy.
No, Anthony Handy.
I know, but I just said right.
All right. Just make sure you follow.
Handy?
Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Always. All right. All right, so Penn State joined the conference in 1990. And we have them going 9-3, man, with losses at SC, Ohio State, and Minnesota.
And guess what? What is their over-under? Just guess without looking at it.
I already know. 7.5.
It's 9.5.
Yes.
We're just under that, man. Just under that. So we'll see what Drew Aller can do. We'll see what those new offensive and defensive coordinators, I think they're great hires. Sometimes it takes a year to put the pieces in place. We're going to see what happens real quick, right? Right out the gate with that West Virginia game. Man, do I want to go to Morgantown so bad. Can someone bankroll that for me? I actually think I'm coaching football that weekend, so I can't go. But it would be awesome to be there. That would be awesome.
I would love to go to that game. There's a couple of games I would love to see. I would love to go be out in LA for US or SC and Penn State. I think would be a fun one too. But I would take the West Virginia game for sure. If I had to pick one game to go to, it would be that one. Outside of Ohio State being at home, I think that's obviously going to be the game of the year for Penn State.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But that Washington wideout, man, that should be interesting. Not really. I think Washington's going to be
no, I think Washington's going to have a bad
feeder.
year. What's with Penn State scheduling easy opponents? Is it wideouts become homecoming, man? What's that about?
You got to win some, right?
I guess you got to win some. And I think Fox is to blame for some of that too. But, next team on the block, a lot of fans in the chat are waiting for this one.
Wait, when were they added? When were they added to the Big Ten? Come on, man.
I already said that. I said 1990. You just weren't listening.
Oh, I thought you were going on to the next one.
Oh, my bad. I thought you meant I didn't say it about Penn State.
Come on. Let's go.
You tell me. When were they added? When was
in 2011? 2011. Nebraska comes to the list. So we got you, man. You're here before some others. So shout out to Nebraska. Here they are. It's rule time. We drank the Rule Aid on air several times. Talked about it other times. So we're drinking again.
That Rule Aid tastes good. Let's see what that Rule Aid shows us in our prediction, man. Woo! We calling for a big year in Lincoln, baby. 10
Oh, man, I can't wait.
10-2, man. Big wins against Colorado. Big wins against Wisconsin. I mean, big win at the end of the year against Iowa. Only two losses we have is SC and Ohio State, man. 10-2. Do they get in the playoffs at 10-2 with this schedule?
Yes, they get in the playoffs at 10-2. But I don't think this happens. I mean, you pulled it in a complete other direction. I got 8-4. I got losses to Iowa, and I got losses to, unfortunately, they're going to end the season bad, to Wisconsin. I think they could pull it out against Colorado, but I could see them losing Colorado too. Either way, I mean,
they're not
going to be happy in Lincoln.
Dude. They are going to stomp Colorado. You want to talk about Wisconsin? You want to talk about Iowa, them potentially losing that game? I'll hear you. But losing to Colorado, come on, get out. Get out, son.
I mean,
get
I'd
out
love
here.
to see it.
No, get out. Not hearing it.
Love to see it, but I just don't see it happen. I could see Colorado winning that game. I'm going to go there because I want to see it live. All right, I'm going to be there. I'm calling it now. I shouldn't say it and not follow through, so I'm going. I'm going to be there.
Which game you going? Which one?
I'm going to Nebraska, Colorado.
Okay. But yeah, man.
No one can hold me back either. Not my bank account. Not.
I guess that's probably their floor and their ceiling, right? You're saying they're going to be 8-4. I'm saying 10-2. I think that's probably your, I wouldn't say worst case scenario, but a likely scenario. And your best case scenario, I went with 10-2. I think there'll be 2 losses in there. It might not even be SC, but there'll be 2 losses in there. I think you could
going bowling
SC for either Wisconsin or Iowa, in my opinion.
Man, imagine that though. What if this happens? What if they end up 8-4? They win those first 7 games, and then they lose 4 of their last 5. Ooh.
Hey man, they're bowling. They're bowling, and the anti-bowling streak is over.
I mean, their back end of that schedule is rough, dude. Rough. I'm not trying to bark or anything, but it's rough.
It is rough. Let's get to another team we were high on, man. Rutgers
was added to the Big Ten in 2014 along with their counterparts Maryland, just for that East Coast TV market. I mean, that was the only reason to make this, right? Delaney was like, I want to increase our monetary and fiscal policy, so add them up. And then Big Ten Network gets into New Jersey and the DMV. It was a great investment move, right? Smart at the time. Now with streaming, it might be a little bit counterproductive, but they're here. They're ready to stay. I almost said something else. I almost pulled a pride parade.
I think 9-3 is more likely, Nebraska. 9-3. Come on, have a little faith, man.
Yeah.
Have a little faith,
8-4 for
man.
BGR. Yeah.
I gave them a little. I gave
10
them
and
1
2
extra game. I think they're 9-3 for sure.
All right, you'll take one back. All right.
No, I'm saying for sure they're 9-3, but I still think they'll go 10-2.
They're
not 8-4.
They're 8-4. They're 8-4.
Nah.
I mean, you're really drinking that Roll-Aid. This is only year 2. Come on,
I
man.
chugged it. It's gone. It's like all the Roll-Aid I could.
I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all for giving them a
Waiting
bowl.
for Matt to come back and fill up my cup, and I'll drink some more.
Touche. All right, 9-3 for Rutgers. You can't find them on the over and under at most places. There are some saying 6.5 over and under, and if you get that 6.5, hit that shit all day. And I think the reason is their returning production's great, right? And their schedule is fucking out of this world easy.
And they got Callie licking my anus from Minnesota, so
yeah. Kaliak Manis, for those that don't know, Rutgers 9-3. We got them with wins against Howard, against Akron, against Virginia Tech, who we have higher. I'm going to flip that because I'm saying Virginia Tech wins that game at Virginia Tech, 3rd game of the season. Then we have wins against Washington, losses to Nebraska, a win against Wisconsin, UCLA, lost to USC, win that against Minnesota, oops, against Maryland. I don't see that happen either. So I'm going to flip that. I'm going to do the loss to Virginia Tech, the win against Maryland, and then Illinois and Michigan State. Wins.
Yeah, I mean, look at that schedule, dude. It is the most manageable schedule in the Big Ten by a mile, man. No Penn State, no Oregon, no Michigan, no Ohio State. I mean, who's the toughest team on their schedule? Virginia Tech? SC? Like, who is it? Nebraska?
Virginia Tech or SC? Yeah. I mean, one of those 3.
Very manageable schedule. Greg Schiano has to take advantage, man. He's been chopping wood, and getting Rutgers back. He has to take advantage of this year. If he can pull off a 9-3 season this year, maybe he can put some fences around the New York, New Jersey recruiting area and actually build a decent roster year in and year out. Now, I don't think you're going to build a Big Ten championship roster year in and year out with just recruiting that area, but you can be a bowl eligible team easily every year, and he has to take advantage of this year. Has to, dude.
This is right in his wheelhouse. This is like a Big East schedule, right?
Yep. It looks like
the
a
old Big East with Cincinnati. It was that, and like, goodness, this is easy. Missouri,
yeah, I mean, there's a couple other
Rutgers.
games that they could lose too. So it's like, man, this is all over the place. Like, they could lose to Minnesota, they could lose to Wisconsin, but they have to take
the
advantage.
divisions being gone. Like, I still don't understand how does the Big Ten fumble this? How do they make schedules like this? Like, you have to be like, let's trade one from Purdue. Let's give Purdue's Ohio State to Rutgers to at least make that a little bit manageable. I mean, they anal raped with no lube Purdue. Walters is getting fucked like no one else I've ever seen. And then you have Schiano come here and be like, you don't have to play anyone.
Yeah, Greg Schiano just
up.
walked up to that house on Halloween and said, please take one candy. He fucking took the whole bowl. Like, all of us would do. Like, yeah, they handed him the candy bowl.
Shit, they dumped it in the bag for him. I mean, it was just like, it was, you know what? I don't care what the rules are. Have the candy.
Please take one unless you're Greg Schiano and Rutgers. Then you can have the bowl. That's what the sign said.
Did Rutgers strong arm the Big Ten office? Maybe.
Apparently, man.
Maybe with that Harbaugh cheating stuff we have, like on our opening comments, like something fishy is happening.
Yeah, Greg
this is
Schiano
payback.
pulled a PJ Fleck and rode the boat up there at the Big Ten office.
He rode something, that's for damn sure.
Something happened. But let's get into Maryland, man. Maryland is Beeves' favorite team. Every year, Maryland's going to do awesome things, and then
minus this year,
fall apart. But not this year. Not this year. No one's believing in it. We got them at 6-6.
And their over/under is 7-5.
Yeah, so we're a little on the under.
I'm under this, man. I think they're one of the bottom in the basement.
Yeah, I think 6-6 is going to be tough for them. I think that's kind of on the better end. 6-6. I don't see that happening. I mean, I could see that happening, but man, they could be under that. I doubt they even get to 7 wins. I don't think there's a way they get to 7 wins. There's no way possible.
Beav is back.
6-6 is kind of best case scenario.
Hello,
welcome back.
I don't even see 6-6, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's like almost best case scenario at this point.
51% returning production, and they don't recruit great, right? They lost Tulia. Maryland always starts off hot, like you said, and gets burnt in conference play, and they're going to get stuffed this season like the fat guy at the buffet.
I'm ready.
Thanks a lot, Mike Loxley. Stuff it some more.
And then the next teams, obviously, they joined the Big Ten Conference this year. Their first year in the Big Ten. We're going to start off with SC, man.
The West Coast, baby.
We got
Big
SC at 8-4 on the season, man. Opening up against LSU in Vegas. I think they lose that game. I think they lose at Michigan. I think they lose to Wisconsin, and I think they go on a win. They start getting some wins, man. They start putting them in their pocket. They start gathering them up, and then all of a sudden they run into their rival Notre Dame. And we were at the Notre Dame USC game last year, and I tell you what, I have no faith in picking SC to beat Notre Dame this year because that was a shit show. Absolute shit show by SC.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a year out from DeAnton Lynn and that fight on mojo. He needs another year to see what they're going to do. I mean, I give them a break that they're going to be a little bit better than last year because they actually have a defensive coordinator other than Alex Grinch, who you have at Wisconsin as the safety coach. Good luck because, man, he was a nightmare at 2 places he's been. The only place he's been good at is Washington State. Go Cougs.
So Lincoln Riley supposedly is playing smooth jazz in the locker room, trying to slow everything down.
Bullshit.
Give the defense a little bit more break. Do you think that's going to happen? Or are they going to
bullshit? Actually, I could go either way against them losing at Minnesota. In fact, I'd almost be willing to put money that they lose at Minnesota. And Rutgers there, I could see them losing, going either way. They could lose to Nebraska too. So this is not by any means one that I would touch with a bet. 8-4.
No, I would stay away from this. I think this team could struggle to get bowl eligible, man. I think they're talented enough to beat all the wins that we have on this schedule, but their defense can also fall apart and lose a lot of these games we gave them wins for. Like you said, well, man, I would not place a bet on this team whatsoever.
And, well, look at it. I mean, they're 7-5 is their over-under as far as 7.5 is their over-under for Vegas Insider. So, yeah, I'm not touching it. I could see them, like you said, I could see them falling apart. DeAnton Lynn needs another year and then bringing them back to glory, baby.
I like that pick, Brask. I like that pick. I can see it, man.
Take it. I can get on board with that.
All right.
Who's
go
next?
Let's go to UCLA. They're in LA, in case you didn't know, with SC. So we put those behind them so you guys knew where they were at.
And a lot of people don't really know about UCLA. But you do know about who we just talked about, their rivals, USC. So they're going to lose a lot.
Yeah,
you
come
get
on.
a running back coach as your head coach. I mean, that's just a cost-saving measure. I don't think that they're going to be good. I think they're going to be the bottom of the Big Ten. They do have, however, a good returning production, so there's hope. 70% returning production. Vegas has them as a 5.5 over/under. They got Gabers. Ethan Gabers is the man. He did well in his bowl game. But that schedule is a killer, dude. You've talked about it before. At LSU. Then they got Oregon. Then at Penn State. Man, two of the toughest places to play in the country, if not the toughest. 1 and 2, LSU and Penn State.
And then he's like, I finally get to breathe. And then it's Minnesota and Rutgers, which are on up years. And then you get to go at Nebraska. Ouch. And they're like, oh, maybe I'll take a breather. Nope, Iowa's coming to town. And then you're at Washington, so another road game. I think Washington could be their third win if there is a third win. And then you got, your rival in SC. And then who the hell picked Fresno State as one of their out-of-conference games? Like you are. Like, I'm just going to pick Fresno State. We're going to struggle to get wins this year. Maybe I'll throw Fresno State on the schedule. Maybe it'll be fine. No, Fresno State's a good team too, so watch out.
I haven't looked it up, but Fresno State's got a schedule, man. They end with UCLA. They start with Michigan. They're going to be a tough team. I mean,
they're out there.
It's going to give them some losses, but if they could pull one of those off, or maybe both of those
you
off,
just want to pull them off.
I would pull them off if they beat Michigan for sure. I'd yank that shit till there's no tomorrow.
What are you doing to these Bulldogs, dude? Golly.
I'm yanking some Bulldogs.
Put your hands in your pocket, man.
Don't you have a Bulldog?
I do have an English Bulldog.
I've been to your house. I slept with your dog.
Damn it.
I mean, on the couch.
That bitch. She literally is a bitch, so don't get offended, people. She's a female dog.
It's a dog. Female dog. Don't take it the wrong way. All right, here we go.
Man,
Who's
bad
next?
year. We have them at 2-10. I think they could be 3-9. But I think that's best case scenario for UCLA. But let's get into
that's really good for a running back coach.
The Ducks, baby.
Ooh, Oregon. Man, they got the attention, right? They got a duck in a river. They're going to take a duck to a giant 65-foot duck to every game they go to. So they got the media check, and they got the transfer portal check. They got everything they need. They got Ohio State at home, their toughest game, check. That loss that we have predicted at your boys in Madison, Wisconsin, in the one of only 2 isthmus in the United States, city on an isthmus.
Yes.
Just for some geography, if you want to know. Seattle's the other one, so they're both in the Big Ten. That's kind of cool.
I think they could possibly go 12-0. I think they could go 10-2. I think 10-2 is worst case scenario. I think.
Oh, I just realized that they end the season at 2 isthmus. 2 cities on an isthmus.
Oh, that's crazy. That's kind of weird. But yeah, I think they lose a game in their schedule somewhere. I think it's going to be kind of an upset style game. I think they're going to be up and ready for all their big opponents when they play Michigan. When they play Ohio State, they're going to be like ramped up and ready to go. But I think they will go to sleep. And I think when they do go to sleep, it's going to be against Wisconsin. And that's why I say that's an upset. Wisconsin gets them in Camp Randall. Hopefully it's a night game in the cold. I'm ready for that game too, but I think that's the upset that Oregon gets, and then they play Ohio State again for the second time that season in the Big Ten championship game.
10.5 over under, and like we talked about, man, their offensive line is returning 4 of 5 starters. I believe the studs Cornelius and Josh Connerly. Their defensive line is that biggest question. We talked about it earlier, so we'll see what happens. They got the linebacker Bassa to help on the second level, and obviously Muhammad transferring over from Washington, who we talk about next.
Yeah, let's get into Washington, man. The last
save the best for last.
Here
we are running in the Big Ten.
We're running way late. We usually try to keep it around an hour and 15 at most, and we're
not going to have time for any quickies.
We are not. This is the last seg, man. Last team, last seg. Washington, man.
Ooh, look at all those L's.
7.5 over and under. New coach. Roster got depleted. Jeff Fish has got a lot of work to do. I hope they can. I wouldn't say hope. Maybe they can get to 6-6, 6-6 on the season. 7.5. We took the under here, but yeah.
40% returning production. Ooh, good Lord. Good thing they have a lot of transfers.
Not buying the purple rain just yet.
No, we'll see. I mean, if they offensive line can gel, maybe. Because they got a quarterback, right? Will Rogers is coming back to sling it.
Yeah, I think Will Rogers gives him a chance. He was the SEC stat leader in almost every major passing category. I think if Jedd Fisch can get some talent around him up and ready to go for this season, maybe. Now they have a chance.
He was second. I looked it up. Second in the SEC in passing yards.
Okay, so in completions,
he was first. He was first in completions and attempts. Yes.
What about touchdowns?
No idea.
Okay. But they have a chance to get hot, man. They're coming out the gate. They got 4 easy-ish games coming out the gate. Washington State, that's a rival, so you can never say that's an easy game. But they have a chance to come out the gates 4-0, and can they build on that before they start getting to the meat of the Big Ten schedule? But I think that's when it falls apart for them, man.
Yeah, and Belichick's son as their offensive coordinator. Who's their defensive coordinator?
You tell me, man.
Fuck, I can't even remember his name now. I don't know why that's escaping. That's the worst thing I've ever thought in my life. But USC's old coach, Pete Carroll's son, is
the offensive coordinator.
The defensive coordinator. He's the defensive coordinator.
I thought Belichick's son would be the defensive coordinator. Oh,
nope,
Lord.
It's reversed.
That's all. Seems backwards.
Yeah. Belichick's son, I believe, has experience as an offensive line coach. And dude, you should see it, man. Those guys look beasts. They look like they're in there. They look like they know what they're doing. Obviously, they come from a pedigree, so it's fun to watch them coaching. And the most contact I have with it is just by watching it on TV. So it's not anything insider, but man, it looks like those guys know what they're doing. I look for big things as long as Jedd Fisch can stay around for a while. If you can,
he's a good coach, man. I think he's the right coach. It's just that roster got
just not this year. 40% returning production. I mean, ooh.
Well, we got Michigan up a lot higher. They got 36.
Yeah, but Michigan.
But they have more depth, and we learned what depth can do against Washington.
And they have a returning coach. Oh wait, no, they don't. It's depleted. I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan would fall further, but it's hard to just drop a national championship winning team all the way out of your top 25.
Are they going to have a TCU type level drop after they had their amazing playoff run and played in the national championship game in the next year?
You're talking about Washington? Yes.
No, TCU. I'm talking about, both, I guess.
But for Michigan, they just have a strong enough defense that they can hold them in games. I mean, they could pull on Iowa and get through most of their Big Ten schedule with just playing defense.
Yeah. Washington had an amazing year last year, but it is not on repeat this year. I mean, you lose DeBoer, you lose almost every player on your team. Hopefully they can get to 6-6 and go bowling, man, but I think that might be a stretch. I think Will Rogers, like we said earlier, is the only chance they have to get there.
So what of these losses are debatable where they can turn around and get bowl eligible? You've got them 6-6, so they can make a bowl game there.
I would say that the only one that's debatable to me is Rutgers. I think that's the only one that's debatable.
You're damn right about that. Yeah. So they could get to 7-5, but I could see Washington State beating them this year.
Yeah, I can see Washington State.
Where's Troy at? He's going to love that comment.
All right, B, man. I think that's our show, baby. That's all we got, man.
We got to get them out. This is way too long. Our sponsors owe us about 28 minutes worth of advertising for free. So, God bless, man. We got to get out of here.
We do got to
way over the limit.
All right, man. Let's get the stadium tour out there for the backers, and then let's go, man. Thanks for joining us. Peace out. See you next week.
God bless y'all.
What a bunch of Buckeye nuts. Happy Valley. You never had a buck. You got 10.